So if you want to know what equipment you're going to need to shoot real estate photography, but you don't know where to start, then you have found the right video. I've been doing real estate photography now for over 4 years, and what I've learned after photographing thousands of homes is definitely what kind of gear is necessary. In this video, I'm going to be going over all of the gear and the accessories needed to shoot real estate photography, as well as a few bonus items that might be worth looking into as well, so stick around to the end for those. So I'm going to be breaking this down into 3 different budget categories, as well as breaking it down by camera brand. I'm going to give a complete kit for each Canon, Nikon, and Sony. So let's go ahead and get started with the most affordable kits for real estate photography. All of these affordable kit options feature APS-C size crop sensor cameras paired with zoom lenses that are 10 to 20 millimeter focal lengths, which on a crop sensor gives you approximately a 16 to 30 millimeter equivalent focal length, which is perfect for real estate photography. The tripod I picked for this category is a cheap yet sturdy option for stable shots. It's nothing too fancy, but it'll definitely get the job done. So now let's look at some of the mid-range kits for real estate photography. Moving on to the moderate kits, these kits all offer full frame mirrorless cameras, which have great low light performance, higher dynamic range, and lower noise levels at higher ISO ranges. These are all paired with the same Sigma 14 to 24 millimeter wide angle zoom lens, which is a fantastic sharp lens for this price point. The tripod pick for this category is made from carbon fiber, so it makes for a super strong yet lightweight and sturdy choice. Now let's move on into the high-end kits. Now obviously, this isn't aimed towards beginners, but eventually you can move up to this kind of kit. All of these cameras are full frame mirrorless cameras with super high megapixel counts. These cameras offer incredible dynamic range and low light performance, offering multiple card slots, and that's going to push these cameras into the professional range. And I use that term loosely because every one of these cameras mentioned, even in the cheaper kits, can be used to do real estate photography professionally. These cameras are incredible options. The lenses for these are all, once again, wide angle zoom lenses that stretch over $2,000 just for the lenses alone. And the tripod choice here is a really right stuff, which they are known for their insane build quality and high price point, but for good reason. These things are tanks and they will stand the test of time. So the kits I showed you are just some of the options for real estate photography. There are literally hundreds of other options. And even on the cheapest setups, you can get amazing results just like these. All you're gonna need for real estate photography is a camera, a wide enough lens, and a sturdy tripod just to get steady shots. And I'm not done either. So all of these kits and these options, you are able to do HDR real estate photography, which is where you take multiple bracketed shots and then you merge them together to get one final completed image. However, if you're wanting to use flash into your workflow to do that flash ambient or flambient blending, I've got some options for you as well. You can use flash with any of the kits that I mentioned before. However, now you're just gonna need 2 more things. You're obviously gonna have to have a flash, and then you're gonna have to have a flash trigger that corresponds with the brand of your camera. For triggers, I like the Godox X Pro. It's simple, it's easy, it's pretty cheap, and it just works. And for flashes, there's a ton of different options to meet all budgets. You can go as cheap as a Speedlight, which I would recommend the Godox V1, and then you can go up to the other lights that Godox offers, like the 8200, the 8400, and the 8600s. Now, I am a fan of Godox personally, but there are more expensive flash ecosystems like ProPhoto. But honestly, for real estate, I don't really see the point in spending that much money on flash when Godox has incredible options for a lot cheaper. All right, so unfortunately, it doesn't just stop there. We have to go over the accessories you're gonna need for real estate photography as well. So for the camera itself, you're gonna need things like memory cards, memory card readers, extra camera batteries, circular polarizing filters, wireless shutter remote, camera cleaning kit, and don't forget some kind of bag or case to put all of this stuff in. All right, so let's talk about one of the biggest optional pieces for real estate photography, which is a drone. So honestly, it's not necessary to have a drone for real estate photography. However, it's probably one of the most used items in my kit. And agents are definitely going to ask if you offer this service just because it is so popular to have drone photography done on their listings. So here are my 3 drone picks at different budget levels for real estate photography. So all of these options are going to be DJI products. I'm a huge fan of them and I've been flying them for years. The most affordable option would be the DJI Mini 3. A good mid-range option would be the DJI Air 2S, which is currently the drone that I fly right now. And if you wanted to spend a little bit more money and go for a higher end option, I would choose the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. All right, so before you go fly that drone you just went out and bought, listen, you have to be licensed to fly this drone for real estate purposes, or any commercial reason for that matter. You need to have your Part 107 certification, which is literally a driver's license for your drone. Failure to do so, and if you get caught flying drone commercially without a license, you could get fined by the FAA, and I'm pretty sure in some states the real estate agent can get fined as well for hiring you to do it without a license. So just to recap, we've talked about cameras and lenses and bags and accessories and flash and all this stuff, right? You'd think we'd be done. Kind of. Outside of the actual equipment you're gonna need to take the photos, you're gonna also need some supporting equipment like a computer or a laptop, and some editing software in case you were gonna be doing your own processing for these images. So there's tons of different options for computers or laptops, whether you're a Mac fan or a PC fan. I'm a fan of Apple, so I have a Mac, but it doesn't matter. You just need something that is powerful enough to handle editing real estate photos, which typically, if you've got 16 gigabytes of RAM, you should do pretty good. So for software, I can only recommend 2 different softwares because it's the only ones I've ever used for real estate photography, which is Adobe's Lightroom and Photoshop. I'm sure you can find some other programs, but it is widely accepted by all real estate photographers and just photographers in general that Lightroom and Photoshop is pretty much the standard. You're gonna have way more options for learning this software on YouTube because it is so widely used. All right, so now that you have all of the equipment that you're gonna need to shoot real estate photography, now it's time to go out and make some money. If you wanna see how I make over $20,000 per month doing real estate photography, click this video here. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.